How to play chess. Chess is a board game played by millions of people around the world because people find it fun, interesting, and overall just a great game to play. But a lot of people are reluctant to play chess because they think it's too complicated, not only intelligent people play chess, and that they really aren't smart enough to play it. But this simply isn't true. In reality, chess is quite a simple game, and in this video, I will explain to you how to play chess. Let's start with the pieces, of which there are 6 different types: the pawns, the knights, the bishops, the rooks, the queen, and the king. And where do these pieces go? They go on the chessboard, which is made up of 8 vertical files and 8 horizontal ranks to make up a 64 square board. Each square has its own name based off its file and rank. This is B2, this is F5. Simple. The pieces are set up on the board like so, with 8 pawns, 2 knights, bishops and rooks, and a king and a queen. Standard chess is a 2-player game, and you can either have the white pieces or the black pieces. The white and the black pieces both behave the same, although the player with the white pieces always gets to make the first move in the game, giving white a slight advantage from the start. Once white makes a move, black then makes one move, and you repeat until the game ends, either in one side winning or by a draw. Now let's talk about the movement of the pieces and how they capture the pieces. Starting with pawns, pawns can move 1 square forward, unless it is their first move of the game, in which case they can, although do not have to, move 2 squares. Once that pawn has moved for the first time, it loses its right to move 2 squares forward at once. Pawns are the only piece that can't move backwards. Pawns are also unique in the way they capture the pieces. Instead of moving forward onto a square of an opponent's piece on it and capturing it that way, like all the other pieces do, the pawns instead can only capture diagonally. The piece must be adjacent to the pawn, as shown here. The pawns are the weakest of the 6 pieces. Next up are the knights, whose movement is pretty strange compared to the other pieces. The knights move in an L shape. This means that they can either move 2 squares vertically and then 1 square horizontally, or 2 squares horizontally and 1 square vertically, making an L shape. Knights are the only piece that can hop over other pieces. They capture by landing on a piece that's on the knight's landing square. They cannot take a piece by hopping over it. Then there's the bishops. You start the game with a light square bishop and a dark square bishop. They move diagonally as many squares as you want, and capture by landing on a square with an opponent's piece on it. Knights and bishops are considered to be equal in quality, but most grandmasters would say that bishops are slightly better than knights. Now we have the rooks, the second strongest piece. These move vertically and horizontally as many squares as you wish, and take just like bishops and knights do, by landing on an opponent's piece. Next up, we have the best piece of them all, the queen. The queen is like a combination of the rook and the bishop. It can move vertically, horizontally, and diagonally, as many squares as you please, and takes just like a bishop or rook would. Finally, we have the king. The king is like a toned-down queen, in that it can move in any direction you want, but it can only move 1 square at a time. But before we talk about the king any further, we have to talk about what exactly the objective of chess is. Well, the answer is to checkmate your opponent. And before I can explain checkmate, I must explain what to be in check is. To be in check means that your king is under attack by one of your opponent's pieces, or maybe more than one of your opponent's pieces. If the king is put into check, it must be moved out of check by the following move, either by moving the king out of check, or by blocking check with one of your other pieces. Checkmate is achieved when one player attacks their opponent's king and there is no way of escaping check. When checkmate occurs, the game ends. If you checkmate your opponent, congratulations, you win. If you get checkmated, you lose. A player can also choose to resign a game if they feel that they will inevitably lose. There are 4 other rules you need to be aware of, the first of which is promotion. This is achieved when you get one of your pawns to your opponent's end of the board, or the back rank. When you move your pawn onto your opponent's back rank, it instantly becomes a better piece of your choice, although you can't promote to another king. In pretty much all scenarios, the best move is to promote to a queen. Then there's castling. This is probably the most complicated rule. One may only castle if the king and the chosen rook on the player's first rank. Neither the king nor the chosen rook has previously moved. There are no pieces between the king and the chosen rook. The king is currently not in check. The king does not pass through a square that is attacked by an opponent's piece, and the king does not end up in check. Castling is the process of moving your king and rook simultaneously. You can castle kingside like this and queenside like this. You castle in order to get your rooks into the game and connected, and to defend your king. Then there's stalemate. Stalemate is achieved when it's a player's turn to move and they have no legal moves, but they are not in check. In this instance, if it was white's turn to move, it would be checkmate in 1 move, but if it was black's move, it would be stalemate. If stalemate occurs, the game ends in a draw. A game can also end in a draw if both players agree to a draw, or if 50 moves are played and there are no captures, no pawn moves from either side, or if there's insufficient pieces on the board for checkmate to occur. Finally, there's the en passant rule. This is a bit weird, but simple enough. If the player with white has a pawn on the 5th rank, and black moves a pawn beside the white pawn to the 5th rank using the pawn special 2-square move in its first move, then white can take the pawn as if it were on the 6th rank. White can only take the pawn en passant if the player with black pieces has just played their pawn to the 5th rank as their last move. Black can also take en passant if they have a pawn on the 4th rank, and white moves one of their adjacent pawns to the 4th rank with a 2-square move. And that's it. That's all the rules you need to know to play chess. What now, you ask? Go play some chess. Play in real life whenever possible, teach your friends how to play, or go online and join a chess website. I personally like to play on chess.com, but there are other good websites too. You will only get good at chess if you play lots. You should take advantage of the abundance of chess lectures on YouTube. They are a massive help when you are starting out. Thanks for watching, and good luck.